This meeting is being recorded. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
In 5, 4, 1.
Oh.
Thank you. And welcome to The Long Shot. It is a podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Sean Conroy. Another of your hosts is Amber Kenny. She is here. Hello, Amber.
Hello. I guess we're almost 3 years in, so I should be used to it. But just now, I was like in my head in a relaxed seating position. But then I see myself on screen and I am like hunched and to the side. And it's like, yeah, no wonder my back hurts constantly. Anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, human bodies were not designed to sit in chairs 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day, and it is doing terrible damage to the human race, to our physiology, to our physiognomy.
Oh,
maybe not our physiognomy.
I don't. What is that?
I believe physiognomy is like your features, like what you look like.
I bet it is affecting that. Because it's
Probably.
The whole like muscular structure. I don't know.
Yeah. Folks, if we have any physiologists or physiognomists listening to the show, please write in and let us know if we're being affected by sitting quite a bit.
Oh yeah. I was laughing at myself and I texted you about how poorly and how inaccurately I tried to describe anything having to do with politics or history.
Right. Well, I think
like the point was made, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Your point was valid. Your point, the specific point you were referring to was valid. And I sent you that. I think it was like a whole article about exactly what you were talking about. Just that they had the facts and you didn't have the facts exactly right.
I just had like a feeling.
Right.
Like a smell.
Right. But I think that's, look, if anybody is coming to this show for the truth, you are for facts, because facts are not the same thing as the truth. If you're coming for the truth,
I feel like
we have the truth. Yes.
It just wasn't the facts.
100% correct. You're absolutely correct. The truth is not about facts. The truth is the truth.
No.
And facts
now
are
we
facts.
sound like the bad guys.
I know. I'm just thinking of that clip where
truth isn't always true.
Yeah. Rudy Giuliani, like truth is not the truth. It's like, what? but that's not what we're saying. We're saying the truth is the truth, but the facts are not.
I will say what separates us is I am acknowledging that I was inaccurate.
Right.
And I'm apologizing.
Right. And on top of which, the larger point you were trying to make was the truth.
Yeah.
So the inaccuracy of your facts did not bolster your argument, which was in fact correct.
Right.
The argument is always stronger if you have the facts on your side.
Mm. I'm going to work on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we always like to start the show with a segment that we call Checking In. So why don't we start today with Amber? Amber,
Sure.
What's going on?
Yeah,
By the way, I like that your window is open behind you.
Oh, thanks.
It sort of like makes things bigger.
Mysterious. Yeah, it's too hot. It's nice to have the fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
This is the view that my boss gets all day long. This is my office, my desk. Jeff went out, so I was like, well, why bother setting up my computer somewhere else? Let's just
fuck that.
Do it here.
Mm-hmm.
And Smudgy's in his crate right next to me. Everything's great. But for checking in, I know there's a lot of horrible stuff, and I'm not
downplaying that.
I'm not downplaying it, and I'm not glossing over it. I'm choosing to cherry pick some joyful moments from my life.
I think that's great. I think that is fantastic.
But I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying. It's not that things aren't affecting me. for this checking in, I want to
I think that's okay. Like, does everything
have joy?
Yeah. If everything had to be about everything, we'd all be fucked all the time.
Right. And it would be very hard to have your facts and the truth.
I don't have any facts to base my statement on, but I do think it's the truth.
But it was 4th of July weekend, which was I have never been a super patriotic person. It sounds like I was into it before everyone else. I'm so cool. Right. But like I wasn't never a very nationalist person. And
you always felt that God did not bless America.
Well, I felt that God blessed America as much as all the other countries. Because it would be strange to just pick one country. I feel like if you were God.
You were not a believer in accept. Well, it depends on who's sneezing at the time.
Right, you know? Right.
If America's sneezing, then God blesses you. But you know,
and there's a lot of sickness going on right now. Facts.
These are facts. Yes.
But I don't know if you feel this way, but it feels ever since Trump was elected and sort of in a increasing manner, it feels almost foolish to be celebratory about 4th of July and how rah America.
We are a society in decline.
Right. Do you feel that way or am I alone?
Well, there's yes, I'll just say yes.
Okay. Yeah. You have something else that you want to talk about.
No, it's not even that. I just feel like it's such a long,
it's deeper than that.
Yeah. But I do think that with everything that's going on, look, the way I grew up was 4th of July was like this country, right or wrong, it's great, everything's great, we're all doing well. That's clearly not true. And so it's not very hard to go, no. Like if there was a way to have like a new version of a 4th of July patriotic song that was like, things are okay, but they could be so much better, you know, like.
And okay is even a loose definition.
Yeah, right. Some people sometimes.
Depends on who you're talking to and what population you're a part of.
I hope this is being recorded.
I like it because there's no melody.
There's no rhythm structure. It starts in 4/4, then goes to 7/4, then 5/4, then 2/3, then 3/3, then 3/4. It's basically a waltz mixed with a mambo.
I'm sorry. That sounds cool. I like that. But yeah, it was but basically I had a long weekend. I didn't have to go to work on Monday. So that was nice. And
that's why America's great.
Yes. No other countries celebrate holidays.
Do you think other countries head off for 4th of July? Nope. Fact.
I actually someone I work with is in India, and he's like, we basically have 4th of July off because there's nothing to do because all of our clients are off
because everybody else is off, right?
Yeah. So it's a de facto holiday. But all of this said, I guess I'm like apologetic. I'm like caging this strangely, but I had a really nice weekend. Especially because this time last year, 4th of July, we were straight up in prison. Smudgy couldn't go on a leash. We were just trying to make him not bark at the window 24/7. We had no way of controlling him.
Are there times when he just barks and doesn't stop barking?
Yes, but not if I get him into the crate. Like now we have tools. So I can just, it's sometimes hard to get his attention, but we call them chicken snacks. Yes, I said it. That he only gets for that reason, to go into the crate. And he loves them. So I just bring out the bag and say chicken snacks, and he'll stop whatever he's doing and run to the crate. I'm
just trying to figure out what's going on with the dog that lives downstairs because he just never stops barking. So maybe I should get them some chicken snacks.
Chicken snacks, a bully stick, and a crate. But
But so last year we were locked in. This year, not locked in.
And it was so hot, like we couldn't even leave the house. And so this year, I mean, we went on picnics as a family. We went to a freaking pool party, which I thought I might see you at because
I really wanted to go. The person whose party it was called me last week to discuss coming to the party and discuss many other things as well. And I just was still, if you remember our last episode, I had torn my back up the previous night. Right. And I was like, I just don't want to be that fucking old dude
like
who's like limping around and going, please don't push me. No, don't push me in the pool.
I mean, the pool might be nice, weightless.
Right.
But
so I thought about it and I almost went. And then when you said you had been there, I was like, God damn it. So missed
those parties are I guess maybe that's what adult parties are like now. But that one in particular, I have so many thoughts. I need to like focus, but I have an app on my phone that like tells me how long I've been doing certain things.
Like being alive and
like in location. So I can say wow, and it's probably bad. It's probably tracking my every step. It's probably being sent to bad guys, whatever. But I've been using it for years.
Mr. President, we have an update. Kenny is putting chicken snacks in the crate again.
But it will give me little alerts. And the day after the pool party, it said you were at
this
pool
place.
Party. It was actually called pool party. I think that's what I labeled it in my phone. You were at pool party, and that's the first time you were there since 4th of July, 2019.
Wow.
Like, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. That's 3 years.
To the day. But we decided to go because we had such a good experience at the dog beach, and we're just trying to actually live our life and not resent our dog.
Hi folks, welcome to the dog beach. You folks have your collars on.
So it was like dog friendly pool party, so we packed up Smudgy and we sunscreened up. We have our bathing suit on, but both of us were like, we are gonna get there and pivot step and go.
Which is exactly what I did the last time I went to one of those parties. Like I literally walked around. No, that's not totally true. I sat down and talked to people who were, I mean, I've been this person many times, so I did not hold it against them at all, but they were just way too drunk to be having a conversation with.
Right.
And I sat with them for like a half an hour and I was like, okay, I got to go.
That's what I was saying about maybe this is what adult parties are like, but we went early on purpose because it was sort of family hour. If you have kids, like a more mellow, less intense party. And we went at that time intentionally because of Smudgy, and didn't know anyone there except for the people throwing the party. Not a single soul. But it was just like, we were just like, we're happy to be out of the house. Like, who cares?
Right. And you can't monopolize the people who are having the party.
Absolutely. But so it kind of at first was like Jeff and I and Smudgy hanging out at someone else's pool. But I was like, I'm not mad about it. But like, is this rude? Like, are we not talking to anyone?
Well, and realize that had I come to the party, it would have been the four of us hanging out.
Right.
Like, I would not have known anybody there either.
Right. You know? But that's what I was saying. I think that's what adult parties are like, because the person who owns the house has collected friends from various parts of life, and they don't necessarily all hang out with each other. But we should. But it went fine. There were other dogs there, and Smudgy got along with them. He was just hiding behind us at first. But then when he figured out there was like food, there was a possibility of hot dogs, he was like, see you suckers. Like, I'm going to go mingle. Like, he was having a blast. And I went swimming. Like, we were there 4 hours. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Holy shit.
And other people showed up that I did know. So it wasn't just me and Jeff hanging out alone for 4 hours.
Right. Like I would have, if I would have been there, I would have been there with you guys for like, I would have lasted like 10 minutes. I would have been like, okay, I got to go. I can't talk to you guys anymore.
This is too much. But yeah, it was really fun. And it felt human and it felt like there's hope for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And
what do you mean hope for the future? Like these people they're building a rocket ship to Mars, or what?
Oh no, that Smudgy will let us leave the house ever.
Oh, I see.
On a very micro scale.
Got it.
And on 4th of July itself, that wasn't on 4th of July. On 4th of July itself, we just stayed as a small family. And again, we were braced for the worst because our neighborhood goes the F off with fireworks.
LA is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, but like directly outside of our window, like crazy. And so we were like, okay, we've got a reactive dog. Like, let's give him as much exercise throughout the day and just see how it goes. He slept like a baby through all the fireworks.
Oh, that's good.
It's crazy. I theorize that is what the inside of his head sounds like already. So it's like soothing. Right.
He was just sound asleep with visions of chicken snacks dancing in his head.
Totally. At one point, he woke up and started barking, and we realized he wasn't barking at the fireworks. He was barking at another dog barking at the fireworks. Like he was like, "Hey, shut up, buddy! I'm trying to enjoy these fireworks."
The classic chain reaction, the neighborhood chain reaction, like
so
Lady and the Tramp.
He's the one dog that isn't afraid of fireworks. He's afraid of pretty much everything else, but he's cool with fireworks. So yeah. That is my checking in.
Cool.
Thanks. What's going on with you? How's your back?
It's better. It's definitely better. Not 100%, but it's better. And I have decided this has been a problem. I think I said this last week. It's been a problem for decades for me. And I think I've decided that I have a recurring herniated disc. And it's good to know that because that means there's stuff I can do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been, like I said, it's been a problem for a long time to the point where I can remember going like 15 years ago to get an x-ray, like going like, this is a problem. Is there something wrong? And the doctor going, well, let's x-ray it and see. And going, you're like, I guess he thought it was a hip problem. So he sent me to a orthopedist who was like, your bones are decaying at a normal rate. Like,
I was like, you can't start with the word decay.
Right.
And like then end with like, everything's fine.
You're fossilizing slowly.
Which is
and
good.
Eventually 10,000 years, you'll be completely unrecognizable, except to physiognomists. But anyway, so it's getting better. Not 100%, but I'm able to like at least do stuff and whatever. I did say last week that I would have a big announcement.
Oh, right.
This week.
Edge of my seat. Or is it pushed? Do you have a
well,
big announcement?
no, it's not. I will. It's not a big announcement really anymore. Because I think it's stuff that everybody already knew. Well, first of all, I should say that today is my birthday.
Holy crap! Happy birthday.
No. Not today, but when this comes, like we're in this weird,
I was gonna say, there's no way it's your
we're in this weird space where we're recording this now, but it's going to come out
on your birthday,
on my birthday. Now, I guess I shouldn't say that because who knows what could happen between now and then. But assuming everything goes according to plan, this episode will be released on my actual birthday. So that's one thing. That's, very, it's not exciting, but it's fine. It's fine.
Is that the announcement that you have a birthday?
No. The announcement, which I think I probably already said on the show, is that it's not even an announcement.
Okay.
You know what? I take it back. It's not
really
an announcement.
Undercutting this now.
It's not a bulletin. It's not a, breaking news. It's not. But I've definitely talked about it before, but it looks like I really am going to direct a movie at the end of the summer. And I like to say I'm going to direct a movie because It sounds minimizing when you say I'm going to direct a short film. It's actually what it is. But what's the difference between a short film and a movie? A film is like a film is a movie, right?
Right.
So it's a short movie, but who cares how long it is? It's still a movie, right?
And is this the one that you wrote?
I wrote it. Yes. Oh, this is not somebody else going, hey, you'd be great at directing, so you should direct this. This is totally me going, I think I'm a genius,
Well, also no one ever just says like, hey, kid in the crowd, you should be a director. Like, that's not
certainly not to me, because not only am I not in the crowd, but I'm not a kid,
When I asked that, I meant, was it the project that you've talked about in the past writing?
I think so, but okay. I also get confused as to what
I don't know if you said it. I don't know if you said that on the podcast.
Yeah, so I did write it, and just I'm going to write all this down, I think, and send it out in my newsletter, which will actually come out before this episode. So I think this is not a spoiler alert. No, it won't be my birthday when the newsletter comes out. No.
That would be ridiculous.
No, during the course of the pandemic, I took several long drives, by which I mean I drove back and forth across the country, which was, I don't know, what is that, like 100 miles each way?
Almost.
More than that, I guess. So I did that. And then I also drove back and forth to Idaho twice over those 2 years, I guess. And over the course of those 6 drives, I was pulled over by the police 4 times. And I was apparently traveling too quickly each of those times, except for one of those times. Now, of those 4 times, the number of tickets I got was 0.
That's amazing.
No tickets, which I attribute to a number of factors, primarily my personal charm. Knowing when to laugh at a cop's little joke and spinning a yarn or two. But
a yarn or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are you doing? Why are you coming from California? Well, you see, the thing about California is
the gold rush.
Yeah. I headed out there in 49 and decided it wasn't for me anymore, but I haven't had time to change my old license plate. But one time I was not pulled over for speeding, which I knew because by then I was so conscious of.
You're like, I can't get pulled over again.
I just was very aware of it. Like I knew, I think I'd only been pulled over twice by then. So this was the 3rd time I got pulled over, but I was like near a town and I was close enough to civilization. It was in Illinois. But I was close enough to civilization that I was like, I need to be aware that there are cops everywhere. So I'm not going to speed this time. But this cop pulled me over. And the first thing he did was tell me, well, this wasn't the first thing he did. He did a lot of things. But when I passed him and saw him on the side of the road, I looked at my speedometer and I knew that I had not been speeding. He then pulled out behind me, followed me for close to 10 minutes.
That's a long time.
It probably wasn't that long, but it felt like fucking forever.
Right.
And I was in the passing lane. I had just passed a truck and I was like, okay, I'm going to get over into the passenger lane and let this policeman who's not following me, because why would he be? I'm not speeding and his lights aren't on. I'm going to let him pass me. And so I got over into the slow lane. Is it the slow lane? It's just the normal traveling speed lane, right?
Yeah, but they call it the slow lane.
They do call it the slow. So I got in the slow lane and.
Well, now it sounds wrong. I don't know.
I got in the ordinary lane and he pulled up next to me. So now we're both going the same speed of like 62 miles an hour in a 75 mile an hour speed limit zone. So I'm very aware of him. I'm trying to think of how this would look like. So this is him. I'm going to do him and me. So this is him in his, I'm him now in his car, right? His little police cruiser. And he's kind of looking at me out of the corner of his eye. I can see that out of the corner of my eye. And I'm not looking at him. I'm just like driving and sipping my coffee. Like, I'm very nonchalant, you know? I know I'm not speeding. It's not a problem. Yeah. I have nothing to be concerned about. This goes on for another 30 or 45 seconds. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Finally, he pulls out behind me, woo, lights me up and pulls me over. And I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, the upshot of the whole thing was the first thing he did when he got up to my car was say, now you don't have any outstanding warrants or points on your license, right? And I said, no, I don't. I know I don't have points on my license. And as far as I know, there are no outstanding warrants for my arrest, which I felt pretty safe saying both of those things.
I know, but that's the thing that you're like, oh, did I just jinx it?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure there's never been a warrant out for my arrest, although I can't say for 100% sure. And I've definitely had points on my license at various times, but I did not have any at this point. And he was like, okay, so I think we can take care of this and it won't be a problem, but I need you to get in the cruiser with me.
Oh, yes, you did. Yeah.
I told this story before. Yeah. Which I thought was so fucking weird. So my initial, my initial reaction was like, oh, he wants me to say no so that because he knows I wasn't speeding. He wants there to be a problem so he can give me a ticket. If I decline to do what he wants me to, then it'll turn into a scuffle of some sort.
Right.
So I was like, sure, no problem. I'll get in your cruiser. And I got in the front seat of the police car with him. So it's the two of us in the front seat. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then we're just talking. And again, this is where spinning a yarn.
Also, I feel like they never want you in the front of a police car. Like, no, for safety reasons. Of course not.
That's super dangerous. Yeah. I mean, I could have
stolen the police car.
Well, I also had a bandolier of knives across my chest, and I could have just but it turned out he just wanted to tell me about his friend that he wasn't able to visit because of COVID, his friend who was in the hospital. And he told me all this stuff. And I was like, this is so weird. So anyway, I wrote a short film about it, and that's the film I'm going to shoot.
And you didn't get a ticket?
Didn't get a ticket. I got a warning. That was the one time I got a warning.
A warning for what?
Well, it was a thing that he claimed that when I passed the truck that I was passing, my car had wobbled in a strange way, and that my tire had touched the line in the it's not even the middle of the road, because there's a grassy knoll, or what do you call the thing in between? A median. There's a median. So, but there's a line next to the median, and my car had touched the line next to the median, and that's bad? A violation. Yeah. He was like, that's a moving violation. You bisected the median line, or some technical thing like that.
Okay.
And so he was like, I'm just going to write you a warning. There's no cost. You don't have to show up in court. You're not summoned to anything. It's just a bulletin that goes out to other state troopers. So if you get pulled over again in the state of Illinois, they'll know that you had a warning for this.
And you're like, I'm never coming back to Illinois.
Well, not even that. What was hilarious about it to me was I got back in my car and I realized that I was like 9 miles from Iowa. Like I would be there in if I drove 90, I would be there in 4 minutes, I didn't do that, but I could have.
That warning.
But anyway, I had a whole other plan for a whole other short film that was so much more complicated. Because the thing about this is, I was just thinking about this yesterday, because now I have a company that I started so that I can do payroll stuff for people.
Oh my God.
That's
a lot of work.
Yeah. Like I have an employer ID number. Well, luckily my brother's a lawyer. So I was just like, can you help me
make sure
do
I'm
this?
Doing this right.
Yeah. It was funny. He called me and, or I called him. I don't remember which way it was, but he was like, I can just talk you through it, or I can just do it while we're on Zoom together.
That second one.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, that's cool. You do it. So he was he was kind enough to do all that for me. But there's so many tiny little details to take care of, because it's like a union thing. So you have to submit your union thing. You have to have COVID inspector on set and make sure you're going through all those protocols. You have to have insurance for everything that's going on. You have to rent equipment. And the big thing also for me, and this is for 2 actors, myself and a DP. There's lots of other people involved, but those are the people who I have to worry about in terms of scheduling. Just trying, like, I can't even go to lunch with 2 of my friends because it's too hard to schedule.
Right.
So trying to get these people, and I have been very lucky, and I won't mention any names, but I've been very lucky to get some very talented actors involved with this, that I'm excited to work with. But because they're so talented, they are working. Yeah. I mean, that's the weird. I was thinking about that too, because I was like, that's the weird thing about acting is like, you're nobody till somebody loves you, and then you're everybody. Like,
then everyone wants.
I know this isn't totally true, and it's not fair to say this, but you don't get anything for a long time, and then you get like 1 or 2 big things. And everybody wants to put you in everything. And I remember this from early on in my writing career, where we would have like a bunch of people audition for a part on a sitcom I was working on. And a number of them would be really funny, but nobody had ever heard of them before. And then somebody else would be like, okay, but they have credits to their name. And the casting director would be like, we should use this person because we know they can do it. They're reliable. They've worked before. And they're people that other people
don't
have
like a
worked
gamble.
With. No, they don't want to take a chance on anybody. So anyway, these actors are extremely busy. And so it's been tricky to sort of negotiate a day it's a 1-day shoot. That's the other thing. I'm like, how the fuck does anybody get anything done?
I know.
With more people involved and, but I guess part of it is also that this is the first one I'm doing, which by the way is hilarious, that I'm basically on the verge of retirement. And I'm like, let me direct a short film in the hopes of doing another longer film. Because that's the other thing, is this is just showcasing the work to get the next thing. I'm trying not to be obsessed with that, because I really do think it's a funny, interesting, weird, dumb, smart, sad script. Very happy.
You're just saying opposite. So
it's really long and short. And the script is so tall and yet does not get to ride on the big boy rides. But just if I can just do this one thing, tell this one story, I think I'll be really happy. But at the same time, I'm like, well, this is the next thing I want to do,
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that is valid and true and facts. But I think you need to just like one step at a time, like focus on this project. Because
absolutely. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just, if I can do this and it comes out half as well as I would like it to, I'll be twice as unsatisfied as I would be if it had been 3 times.
Oh my God.
Uh, but yeah, it has to be about this thing. Like the I used to have, I've probably said this on the show before as well. I used to have a giant bulletin board in my office in New York. And I would just like, well, this is going to sound so pretentiously New Yorky, but New York, you ride the subway all the time, right? So I had a subscription to the New Yorker at the time and read it religiously every week. And I would tear things out of the magazine and stick them up on the bulletin board. So like I had one article, there was a whole article about Larry David years ago where he talked about I think it was after he worked on SNL, and he was like, I'm basically in my mid 40s and I'm never going to make it. And he said, I would walk around the city and I would see places that I could shelter when I was homeless ultimately. Oh my God. And so I cut that out and put it up on the bulletin board. But anyway, there was one that I remember, which was Julie Taymor, who I always think of her as the director of The Lion King. Although, as somebody said to me recently when I was talking about it, they're like, she also directed Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark. So, yeah.
But I mean, every artist, like you can't
swing and a miss. Yeah. But she had a quote. I think I don't remember. I'm assuming the article was something about The Lion King, but I just don't have any recollection of it. But she said, and this is the part I cut out, was the purpose of art is in the act of creating it. Mm. And that always stuck with me. And I'm trying to just keep that
in mind. Embrace that.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's like, there's no being satisfied, you have to be, I mean, I'm sure there's a million philosophical schools of thought that would say the same thing in different words, but it's like, I'm doing this for the sake of doing it, not for the sake of what's the next thing or how am I going to come out on top or how am I going to
well, and I also want to say, and I'm sure you know this and feel this, but I feel like it's important to say, but just even doing as much as you're doing is a huge accomplishment. You know how many people, especially in Los Angeles, but I'm sure in the country, in the world, are like, I've got this idea for a short film and someday I'll direct it. I've got this idea for a short, it's the fact that you've moved past ideation and into action is a huge accomplishment and a win already, I feel like. So you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. Yes. I will never be proud of myself, but thank you. Yes. I appreciate it. And it is a little bit, I get very worked up, as soon as this thing happens or this email comes in or this thing comes, whatever. I'm like,
any little difficulty.
Right.
I shouldn't have done this. I quit.
Right. But that I think is part of the process too, is like learning that's how it goes.
Kind of surfing with it a little bit.
Yeah. Like you gotta, it's really making me think about that, about playing the long game instead of, oh shit, I'm fucked because of this thing.
Or it's a little uncomfortable right now. But
it's like if this part doesn't work out, we'll fix it and do something else. Like it's almost like starting over in terms of the skills I've developed as a writer. Not that I have any skills as a writer, but I'm just saying
enough of this false modesty.
but to me, a big part of being a writer is that it's about solving problems, because you have an idea of the story you want to tell, of what you want to communicate, and then it's not quite right, and you have to figure out how to make it work. And this is what I'm learning about this process as well, is that there's always things that aren't quite right. And you're like, what can I do to fix this? How am I going to make this?
Well, and when you compromise and when you don't compromise, because you can't like die on a hill for every small thing, but there are probably certain things that would undermine sort of the integrity or the idea. So it's like, what can you shift with? What can't you shift with?
Right. You're absolutely right. What compromises am I willing to make? And where do I draw the line? And that actually reminds me.
Oh no, am I in trouble?
I bought you a sandwich like 4 years ago. No, it's funny because I've been watching this show on HBO called Irma Vep. Have you seen this?
I have not.
It's like Irma Vep is such just a weird name of a show.
Is it like a person's name? Is it like Irma and Vep?
It's a person's name. And the show, let me see if I can do this right. The show on HBO is about a director and a group of people. And well, really the actress is the star, the actress who is playing Irma Vep. So it's about this director and this actress who are making a TV show that is a reboot of a movie that the director made a number of years ago that was a reboot of a movie that was made in 1916. So
oh my God.
He did a reboot of a silent film as an indie film, and now they're doing a reboot of the indie film as a TV series. And this is a TV series about the making of the TV series about the reboot of the indie film of the reboot God. Of the.
But I can see already that it's like probably conversations about being true to the material, but like, what are you true to this reboot material, or are you true to the reboot movie, or are you true to the silent movie, or are you true to your own new vision?
Right. Are you true to yourself? And it's also, it's affected, I think, by here's the other crazy part of this is that in real life, the creator of this show actually made an indie film about a silent film, like about a reboot of it's
like a hall of mirrors.
Yeah, it's but anyway, he's French. So
of course he is.
In the show, in the show, they're shooting in Paris, and the director is French, and so a lot of it is in French. And that just, I think, adds a layer of, I don't know, complexity, but also humor. And, you know, the guy who plays the director is so great. French guy who I've never seen before. And he's clearly like, I don't know, there's just so many good things about it. And then also the actress who's the star who plays Irma Vep is Alicia Vikander. So you could just sit there and watch her sit still for half an hour. You know what I mean? She's like one of those Hollywood actresses that just seems unearthly, you know?
Right.
Like, how did that happen? But it's also, I watched a bunch of episodes earlier this week, and I just was thinking about the whole process the whole time, you know, and how this shit all works. So anyway, that was my big announcement.
I love it. That's exciting. Congrats.
Thank you. And also that today is your birthday, but not today, but the day.
It's just like Irma Vep, kind of. It's the reboot of your birthday.
Yes. And every year is a reboot of that day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You never really celebrate it true to that day, do you?
No, never. I always either say the day that I wrote this was my birthday, and so I am reading it out loud right now several days later, or I say today is my birthday. I recorded this ahead of time, so it's not actually my birthday. I don't know. Birthdays are weird, man. I don't like, they seem like such a big deal when they're happening, but then I'm like, what birthdays do I remember? You know?
Yeah.
Do you remember your birthdays?
I think I could if I had to do an exercise.
There's a few, but
Yeah.
Most of them are just like, well, that happened.
We have been watching The Hills. This relates, I swear to God.
Yeah.
It's a really, really dumb reality show from like the late 2000s, like 2005 to 2009 sort of. And it's about 20 somethings in Los Angeles who are like all very good looking and all very wealthy, like trying to make it and going out to clubs and stuff.
Sort of my crowd, basically.
Yes. It's kind of fun for us to watch now because like some of the times it's like we were in Los Angeles at that time and we were probably close to that age, but that is not the lifestyle I was living, but I bring it up because birthdays are
you want to go to the Viper Room, Amber?
Well, they were all just like, ugh, I'm turning 20 and I'm already the creative director of this PR firm. And I'm just like, how? What are you talking about? Because it wasn't real. But because they're so young, that birthdays are a huge, huge deal in a way that's comical. Like their plots where it's like, I have to work, but it's my boyfriend's birthday. And like Jeff and I are just like, who cares? but like to them, it's unimaginable that birthdays aren't like the world stops and celebrates you, I don't know. It's just funny.
How could they call me in? It's my boyfriend's birthday.
Right. Like, that's literally more than one of the plots.
Well, hopefully nobody called me in to work today. And by today, I don't mean
you mean
today. I mean the day this comes out. Yeah. Because they better not call me in on my birthday. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
No, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do on the actual day. I don't really have a plan right now. Last year, I almost had a big birthday party. If you remember, last year was
right to go.
Yeah. And then I had to send out another. I literally had to send out a de-invite for my birthday party.
I've done it for a wedding.
Because
so I beat you.
but it was the Omicron variant that came out right at that time. Like that, the day after I sent out an invitation to my birthday, was like, well, there's a new variant, folks, and it's time to go back inside. And now it's like every 2 days.
Yeah.
Every 2 days they're like, there's a new variant, but we're back to normal, everybody. So
I just read something recently that this new one is a doozy where like people have been operating in the like, well, I had it, so now I'm safe.
Right.
But that's kind of not true anymore, that you can get it within a couple weeks again. So yay.
Yeah. It's all very, we're living in a tricky time.
And who knows if what I'm reading, like that's what we've always been talking about. Yeah. What are facts and what is true? But to your point, it feels like capitalist corporate America is just like back to work. Like
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And, but then I keep reading things that are like, actually more people are dying every day of COVID now than this time last year or this time in 2020.
I saw that yesterday.
No one's talking about it. And I'm like, that's not good. Like what's going on?
No, but at least we're back to work, I guess we can whistle while we work the way the dwarves did in Snow White,
I got an email at work today that was like, basically like, we're really going back to the office. And I'm like, okay. You've been saying that for a year.
I'll meet you there.
Oh, I'm running late.
Yeah.
And I'm still accomplishing everything, and I'm not getting COVID, and I'm not paying for gas.
I know. That's what's so crazy about it is like, in so many situations, what differences make. But then in a lot of situations, it does make a difference, you know? I mean, I'm struck. I went today to the pharmacy, and I don't know, man. None of them had masks on. Nobody that was working there had a mask on. And obviously it's a personal choice, whatever. But like, that would be rough.
Especially at a pharmacy. Like, the people are sick.
Right. They're not coming there because they just want. I was there to get a vacuum cleaner, but
you got a vacuum cleaner at the farm. Oh, I was like, you're not going to get a great deal there, my friend.
I really was looking for rug shampoo, but I couldn't find any there. Because I'm redoing my whole apartment. I'm trying to get rid of all the crap I've accumulated over the last 15 years. It's not good. It's not good to have all this fucking crap. So now everything is here in the living room. I've moved everything out of the bedrooms, and we'll see if it ever goes back in. Could be stuck this way for a long time.
What fun.
All right. Well, this feels like a good place to take a break. So why don't we do that? And then we will do a segment on the show that we like to call "The Purpose of Parting Shots is in the Act of Creating Them."
Aww.
We are back. You're listening to The Long Shot. It is a podcast, and it's time for a segment on the show that we like to call Parting Shots. So I guess I'll go first tonight because James Caan. I think we can't let today pass, and by today I don't mean
a week ago.
No. Actually, the day we're recording this, not when this comes out. The great James Caan has died, and I don't know. What's the first thing you think of when you think of James Caan?
I guess The Godfather.
Yeah. I think that is by far his most iconic role. I mean, he did a million things, but that's the one that is really. But I always think of him in the movie Bottle Rocket, which was the first Wes Anderson movie
before Wes Anderson was Wes Anderson, basically.
Yeah, it was the first film he made with Luke and Owen Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And Caan, I think probably. I mean, I haven't done enough. I think that movie came out in the mid 90s, and he was Sonny Corleone. So now it was 20 years later, and he was older, and he could be like a mobster. So he's a mobster in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes place in Texas. And I don't honestly remember a ton about the movie. I remember enjoying it, but I probably haven't seen it in, I don't know how long, 20 years at least. And the thing I remember is James Caan practicing karate with his manservant. And he goes, at one point, he goes, no, back up. Not that close. Not that and it's just like a throwaway thing at the beginning of a scene. And it's like one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Just because I don't know. It made me laugh so hard that he was being so I'm practicing, but you have to stand farther away because that's not right. And and it was not a plot moment or anything. It was just like a total character thing. And I still think about that scene a lot. I still think about it frequently because it made me laugh so hard. So one of the great ones, James Caan. So that's my parting shot is go watch
Bottle Rocket.
Reservoir Dogs. Oh yeah. Bottle Rocket. Yep.
And Elf.
See, I've never seen Elf.
Oh, you should see it.
I've had a lot of people tell me that's their favorite Christmas movie, and I have never watched it. But
because he's very committedly James Caan playing Will Ferrell as an elf's dad. So that's funny.
Yeah. that works. Like you get where that casting comes from. I mean, that was the thing about The Godfather that was a little weird to me was he doesn't look like one of the family.
Mm.
He is, but he doesn't look like one of the family. Like you look at them and you go, that guy doesn't look like everybody else, you know?
Maybe that was a plot device. Yeah, like there's some family drama.
There's a whole other level to The Godfather that I never understood, I guess, if that's the case. But I get him being Will Ferrell's dad. Like that makes total sense in my head visually. You know?
Right.
All right. Parting shots. Amber.
Yeah. I, for the past 3 weeks, have been sort of channeling Jamie. Hear me out. At work.
By the way, I want to hear this. I definitely want to hear you out. But just to catch you up on the fact that Jamie emailed me after 2.5 months.
Oh, yeah.
I emailed him back right away.
Uh-huh.
Yesterday, I got a notification from Google that said, you sent this 5 days ago and have heard nothing in response. Do you want to follow up? So anyway, I thought that
not
was
shocking. But at work, there was sort of like a team building step challenge where you could form teams and try to get as many steps as you can within these 3 weeks.
Fucking corporate America, man. I love it. I wish I was part of it.
Well, it's the kind of thing that I would have never in a million years signed up for solo, but the rest of my team was like, let's do it. And I was like, okay, like I do go for a lot of walks. Like it won't change my lifestyle all that much. Right. I'll hit those goals fairly easily. But having like, that's why I say I'm channeling Jamie, having like, I'm actively counting. And like today I was tired, so I'm not at the step goal yet. So like after this,
damn it. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm close. I'm like 1,000 steps away, but
how long does 1,000 steps take?
10 minutes, maybe less. But yeah, it's just so funny that I'm so aware of it and I'm trying not to be, but it's like I get competitive despite myself almost, where like who gives a shit, but I'm like, I want to beat it by like 3,000. Like what are we doing? And so I'm walking and I'm checking it, and it ends on Sunday, and I'm actually pretty excited about that. Oh, but here's the kicker. After all this, there's like 4 people on my team that have done jack shit the whole time. So we're not going to win a single challenge.
Did you know they were doing jack shit the whole time?
Well, I could see, like, we have like a thing, like our team. So I'm going to bring it up.
But is there any way to like nudge them on a regular basis? Like, why did you guys sign up for this if you weren't going to participate?
But I mean, like, who cares? But it's more like he must have his app not activated or something, because I want to be like, Brian, how have you taken 0 steps in 3 weeks? Like that's actually kind of impressive.
I'm sorry to tell you this, Amber, but Brian has been living in an iron lung for 2 years.
But like you have to be trying to do 0 in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a
so I'm sure you're right that he just like never turned it on. He's like, that's what's going to happen. You're going to go, Ryan, what the fuck? And he's going to be like, oh my God, I counted by myself and I did 47,000 steps a day.
I was walking going 1, 2.
Yeah. He's going to hold up like a card that just has like notches on it for every step he took. I've been keeping manual track.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're not going to win anything. But there we go. I was doing things like this over the weekend. This is what I mean about getting competitive for the sake of being competitive. Because Spongy and I wake up very early and go for walks. And I'd be like, I'm gonna hit the goddamn goal before 7 a.m. Like that's my like, and so sometimes I wouldn't because it's a lot of steps to do very early in the morning. And I'd be like close. And I'd be like, and I'm like, who cares? I'm definitely gonna hit it today. Just like walking to the bathroom. It's fine.
But I didn't get it by 7 a.m.
Exactly. Like it's a goal for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, yeah, competitiveness is a weird thing because you think of yourself as like, who cares? I'm very laissez-faire. Yeah. But then once that kicks in, it's very hard not to respond to it. I mean, I used to have trouble with that. I mean, this is a long time ago, but when I used to go to CrossFit all the time, because CrossFit was all about time and reps and who's number one and all that stuff.
You get injured because
right. And I was never, you
gotta listen to your body, not other people's bodies.
I was never going to come close to any of the people that I was exercising with, but I definitely felt like, okay, I gotta,
right. I don't want to like embarrass myself at least. And
I would sometimes when we would have to, you have to do things like, this is so obnoxious, but run 400 yards, come back and do 50 squats, then run another 400 yards, then come back and do 50. And I would end up like the second 400-yard run blocking somebody from getting past me. Yeah. I mean, joking, but still doing it.
But
like
not joking.
Yeah. Like, no, you can't. No. No. So
yeah, it's so weird. I get why they set up programs like this because it's like despite myself, it did motivate me to walk more.
Right.
And I thought I was too cool for school. It didn't work for Ryan though.
You know why it didn't work for Ryan, but you know why Jamie didn't email me back? Because he's just been walking this whole time.
But you could block an email.
I guess you can. You might step in a hole, but
yeah.
All right. Well, this feels like a good place to take a break. So let's do that.
No. We have no more to do.
Oh, okay.
No more.
Folks, this has been The Long Shot. It is a podcast. Smash that like button, turn on the bell for notifications.
Follow us on TikTok.
I actually saw one of our listeners made a TikTok based on a stand-up bit from my album.
I think I saw that too. That was cool.
It's funny, but also it's like it's missing like a few words from the setup, so it doesn't totally make sense. But I was delighted to see that somebody was doing something with the shit that I recorded a decade ago at this point. So yeah, smash that like button and hit the bell for notifications. All right. We'll see you next time on The Long Shot.
Bye.
Well, I will not know you, whoever you are, and you'll be all in with the slots and the sin, and we'll go to my car. And if I start falling down to the ground, and if I remain and you cause me that pain that I've heard all about, well, I will not hear you, your shuffling song, with your hooves on the ground and my teeth in my mouth where they won't stay for long. And I will start weeping and swinging at you, but not do I know that the faster I go means the less that I do.